Hello, thank you so much for joining us on Car Tips. My name is Ian, and I'm very glad you're here with me again. Welcome for another episode. Today we are going to learn something a bit new or something regular, depending on how you take it. So today we are going to look at a very wide topic, which is called how to take care of your vehicle, how to take care of your car. So we go straight to the topic. You join me. So this is car tips. How to take care of your car for a long lifespan. That's the topic. Number one, we are going to talk about wash it or clean it. As simple as it sounds, just the act of washing your car or keeping your car clean is very important because it usually maintains the paint, the quality of the paint, the color, and also ensures that your car always pops. It looks okay, the paint is well maintained and everything. So always clean it. That is, you can take it to the car wash. You take time and clean the hard to reach surfaces. Even if you're taking it to the car wash, sometimes you just need to sit down and do the cleaning yourself because the car wash guys usually don't go that deep. There are some areas they don't reach, like along the cup holder areas, deep inside the AC compartments, the glove box. They don't usually open deep. Even at the boot, some usually don't open the deep inside the boot. So you just take time and clean it. You clean it yourself. You keep the windows closed to avoid dust from getting dirty, from getting into your car. So this simply means whenever you are driving, especially along the dusty road, you just keep your windows closed, and then your car will not be dirty. Because even if the road is not dusty, remember there's still some dust on the air, so they usually get attracted into your dashboard area and along the steering, the speedometer area. So just closing the windows while you drive usually helps a lot. Especially especially when you're along the Maram road or something. So you can do paint waxing to maintain the shiny upper protective layer of the paint. This one is usually done, I think, once every 3 months. But depending on the owner of the car and also depending on how frequent you wash your car, the color of your car and many other factors. So whenever you're washing, remember to use a soft cloth and have two wash buckets, one to rinse and another to clean. So you don't, so that you don't rub the dust on your paint, the tiny particles. So this means you should, when you are doing the cleaning, have two buckets separate, one for just washing, that is soapy water and the washcloth, and then the other one should be clean water for rinsing. So that even as you are rinsing, you don't apply back the tiny particles that you have already washed from your vehicle. So you use recommended polish gels available like tire polish, dashboard cleaner, paint cleaner, leather cleaner, etc. This simply means you can go to your supermarket, look for local available cleaning agents. That is for tire shine, for leather polishing, for dashboard polishing, and all that. It's not necessary, but it's very important if you want to maintain the quality and the cleanliness of your car and just to keep the car interior very shiny. Even the tires, if you do that, they still be very shiny. So number two, on how to take care of your car, do regular service or maintenance. This one is very important. Whenever your car has you look at the speedometer when it has reached the time for service, either 5,000 kilometers or 10,000, ensure you do the service. It's very important so that the engine oil is changed and the other fluids that are supposed to be checked. You can always check more to do with this on your car manual. So ensure you go to the recommended service dealers and mechanics for better and professional experience. A good dealer or mechanic will have a physical location that is always open. Have the correct service equipment. Always ensure your mechanic uses the correct tools for the correct job. Not one who uses appliers to do everything. That is not a mechanic. Tools, very important. Provide regular service report. Ensure you get a service report, and then provide other repair services. One who can offer other repair services, not someone who only does service. Then when you get something has a problem, they will still advise you to go to a neighbor somewhere to do something different. Get someone who is professional, who can do everything under one roof. If it's a problem, they can still rectify on the go. Then someone trusted and recommended by other car owners. You should always, if you have a car owner or a relative or somebody, always ask them for their mechanic contact so that you get good referrals. You get referrals towards a good person who can maintain your car well. Pay attention to your tires. This is something many people usually don't think it's important, but that is step 3. When you maintain the recommended tire pressure, the tire will wear evenly. You have the correct, that is, even the tire is not easily, what do I say, cannot tear down easily. You are able to have enough grip on the ground and many other factors. So make sure you do the recommended tire pressures. Do correct tire repairs. Don't always go to plug your tires. There's a recommended number of times you're supposed to plug a tire. That's usually an emergency way of repairing, not a permanent. So if you plug your tires too many times, it will have weak points, and then it will be very easy to to let air out any time. So replace tires when worn out. You can always measure the tire depth. Tire depth, you usually use a coin. If you insert a coin and it goes up to around quarter way, that is a good tire base. But if you insert the coin and it doesn't go inside too much, we will do that practically someday. So that usually indicates your tire depth is not okay. Even by looking at it physically, you can see the tire depth is a bit shallow, so that will tell you the tire is worn out. You can check your spare wheel. Always check your spare wheel, guys. Ensure your spare wheel has enough pressure. Is okay, because you don't want to get to a situation where your tire is flat. You are longer parking, let's say at a mall, at a city mall, or even in the CBD, your tire is flat, and then you go to check your spare tire, you find it's not there, or it's also not having enough air. So always check your spare tire. I recommend every weekend, take a look around your car, ensure your spare tire is okay, ensure your number plates are well mounted, and such other things. Just small things. Your bumpers, ensure they are held onto the car correctly and everything. So keep your tire caps on. You can always ensure you buy a tire cap to protect the valve from dust. Then you can use wheel cleaner. We've talked about this. When you go to your local mall, look for a wheel shiner or cleaner that maintains the shine of your wheel. Do wheel balancing and alignment to avoid uneven wears. So when you do wheel balancing and alignment, your tire will wear evenly, and the car will also be moving correctly. Along a straight line, your tires will all be facing the same direction. So it's very important, because if you don't ensure that is correctly set, you can easily get into an accident, especially along the highway, because one tire will be going the other direction and the other one the other, so you get a bit of resistance. Even you will end up straining the engine, because the tires are not moving towards the same direction, so it is straining to drive the tires. So pay attention to little problems. That is step number 4 of how to take care of your car. You pay attention to little problems, like if you see any cracks on the paint or dents, ensure you repair them immediately. Because any crack, usually, if you ignore it, it will start rusting away. The body will rust. Remember, the body is made of metal, so it will rust away. Or the more the cracks, the more the car will start losing its value, and even the general look of the car will be a bit tarnished. So always repair the cracks. Anytime you see any crack, ensure you repair it. Here, you listen to any noise. If you get any noise or scraping sound from body, ensure that is taken care of immediately. Don't assume, because it could be a part that is loose and you end up losing it. Repair body clips, replace body clips and holders. Ensure everything is held tight. So body clips are usually used to help to hold the plastic things along the body of the car, like the door panels, the engine compartment uses a lot of the clips. So whenever you find any clip is missing, always replace it. It's not expensive, but it's a good practice to keep your car together. It usually ensures everything is held on correctly, and you don't get to lose some parts of the that are very important. So check the body parts that are commonly stolen and have them protected and held in well. The body parts that are usually stolen, like let's say for example, for a Nissan Note, along the nose of the vehicle, there is a metal there that is usually stolen a lot in Kenya. So people usually find a way to rivet them in. Even your wipers can get, you can always hold them using what is it called? Can always hold them using a tire, the plastic holder. I'll remember the name, I'll tell you. The plastic clip or something. So always ensure all the parts that are commonly stolen are well held in place. Uh, that is how to step 4, how to take care of the car. Step 5, park correctly. On this part of parking, it's very important because ensure you park correctly so that you don't get hit by motorists or motorcycles or your pedestrians and everybody. If you park along the road, especially when you're parking at the side of the road, ensure you're parked correctly. Then use parking brakes and pay for parking fees to avoid being told by the city council and whatever. Parking brakes usually help to maintain the stability of the car and ensure the car is not straining the gear. You remember when you park, you put it into parking, the gear. The parking brakes are meant to assist the gear to stop the car from moving. So if you don't put the parking brakes, your gear will be under strain, especially if the road is not it's not a straight road. So always use your parking brakes. You park in shades to avoid direct sunlight from hitting your paint or interior of the car. That is self-explanatory. You don't want the paint to fade away because of the sunlight. Even the dashboard usually starts becoming dull if it's hit by so much sunlight. So pay parking fees to avoid being towed, which risk damages to your car. Remember, the guys who tow your car, they don't take care of it. They just tow it anyhowly. So whenever you're parking your car, ensure it's parked correctly. You have paid your fees to avoid these issues. Park where there are no sharp objects to prevent tires from going flat. That is also self-explanatory. So number 6, way of taking care of your car. Don't overload the car. Overloading is a very big problem because one, it will put pressure on your tires and body chassis and also suspension, which will lead to very fast wear. Number two, it will put pressure on your engine, especially when you are accelerating or driving along the street. Number three, overloading also reduces fuel economy. It will make your engine strain, which will make your engine use more fuel than the normal. So number 7, you use recommended fuel from reputable fuel suppliers. Don't just fuel anywhere. Look for reputable fuel vendors in your country. Like in Kenya, we usually go for Shell, Total, Rubis, and many others. So always use the reputable ones because they provide you clean fuel that is free from contaminants, and it will serve you well. Once in a while, you can always use like Shell Rubia, or it's called what, V-Power, Total Rubia, and those other cleaning, those other fuel that have cleaning agents in them, so that you can clean your engine just once in a while. Okay. So number 8, check car fluids. There is a video I did about checking car fluids. Always ensure your brake fluid is sufficient, your window washers, your oil levels, your ATF fluids, your power steering fluids, and top up using the recommended ones from your manufacturer when it is low. This is very important, especially when you're using your car as a daily driver or when you're preparing to go for a long drive. Even for the car you just hired, always ensure you check these fluids so that you don't get stuck along the highway. You're starting to looking for those fluids. Number 9 is choose a good car insurer. Whether insurance is comprehensive or third party, choose a good insurer that ensures you are safe on the road. Ensure you are able to repair your vehicle in the event of an accident. That is when you have a good insurer. And also one that is 24 hours call. Have a reliable on-call agent. If you have an insurance, you should get at least a contact person that you can always contact in case of any emergency. Then number 10, don't drive crazy. Have good driving habits. Don't drink and drive, that is very self-explanatory all over the world. Do not drink and drive because drinking will always impair your judgment as a driver. Then don't make phone calls while driving. Whenever you want to make a phone call, guys, look for somewhere along the road, park safely, then make your phone calls or send a message or text, reply to text or whatever. Remember when you're making a phone call, all your attention shifts from driving, it gets divided, so you can easily get into an accident. Avoid that. Actually, research shows that many people get into an accident along the traffic jam than even those who are along the highway. Because when people are going along the highway, a clear road, they're usually very keen. But when you're along the traffic jam, that's where people get tempted to use their phones. And then that's when a lot of accidents happen. So after stopping, accelerate slowly. Don't strain the engine. I cannot overstress on this, guys. Your car has something we call rev meter. So always ensure when you are driving or when you are accelerating, don't exceed 2000 revolutions per minute. Uh, it's usually very important. Don't strain your engine. Whenever you step on the accelerator and you hear the engine is straining, always release it a bit. Let the car pick on its own pace. This one will have good fuel economy. It will ensure your car engine is not straining, and so it will have a good lifespan. Don't have these people who always like accelerating like they're driving a Subaru or whatever. Always take things easy. Put the car in neutral when you're in red lights or traffic or not moving to prevent the engine from trying to accelerate against the brakes. This is very important, especially when you're along the traffic or you're waiting for the lights to turn green. Always put the car in neutral. This will ensure the engine goes to idle. It will not be trying to drive while you're stepping on the brake, so it's like you're working against the engine. So you'll be using more fuel. For those cars with the I-stop button, ensure you activate them when you're along the traffic to have better economy. The I-stop will usually turn the engine into idle or off when you're stepping on the brake. Then when you release, it will come back on. Then turn the steering slowly to avoid hitting the extreme ends unless an emergency. Guys, there are people who usually like turning the steering very wildly and very fast, and then until they even end up hitting the extreme ends of the steering. It's not a good practice. Always turn slowly unless it's an emergency. An emergency is a case where you are trying to avoid to hit something. That in that case it's allowed. You can do that while turning. But when you're just driving, don't be like you are in such a hurry that you have to turn your engine that way. Okay, then avoid sharp turns when you can. Don't always go for sharp turns. It's always not good. But when you have to, you have to. When turning the gear or the shift of your car, don't use force. Do it slowly, especially when you're in motion. And don't do it when you're in motion. So whenever you are changing the gear from maybe parking to drive to reverse to neutral, always do it slowly. Don't just shift very fast. You'll end up damaging the gear shifter or the shifting mechanism. When fueling, always turn off your engine. Use reputable fuel outlets. This one we've talked about it, but always ensure when you're at the petrol station you're fueling, turn your engines off. That is for your own safety. Then don't overlap on the traffic to avoid accidents and dents and scratches onto other motorists. When you are along a traffic road, please just be patient, let people move, and then your turn will come, you will move along with them. Don't always be this guy who you cannot stop even for a minute. Whenever there is any reason people have stopped, you have to overlap, and this usually leads your car to get a lot of dents, and you can even hit something along the side of the pavement. You will curb your wheels, then your car will end up just having too many dents which are not necessary. So the other one is drive on a clear, smooth road when you can, and avoid mud when you can. Avoid putting pressure on the suspension, tires, and engine. When on an even surface road, don't overspeed. Avoid potholes when you can. This is self-explanatory. Just be a good driver. Avoid all potholes when you can avoid them. Not always. It's not always you can avoid them. Some are very big. You cannot run away from them. But don't speed along such roads, so that you take care of your suspension, your tires, you're even under the car, the undercar. You will take care of it. You will not scratch everything, and then the car will start having a lot of screeching noises. Okay, so just be a good driver wherever you are. Make sure you're a good driver. Take care of your car. Take care of yourself. Remember, this car you rely on it to take care of you. So also take care of it. Uh, I'll attach a I'll attach a link to this document in the description below. So thank you so much for continuing to join us. I really appreciate your input. I've gotten so much input from my other videos. I really appreciate it. I don't take it for granted. So that is it. Have a lovely time. Bye bye.